So we were sharing a few texts today, Jared, and the exchange went around. We were sort of forecasting some of the storylines with Ash, which we'll do after 7, which may get some of our interest next year. And I found a link to 18 questions that I'd posed on SEN in the lead up to this season. And sent it through to you, and you said, why don't we go through and try and answer whether, where those questions sit. So the first one I had was, who replaces Gill? If not Brendan Gale, why not? So we've got the answer to it. Do we have the full answer to it?
Yeah, we've got the full answer. Yeah, we've actually got the full answer. Yeah, he's stepped up, and Brendan Gale. Well, I think almost everybody thought he would either be 1 IC or 2 IC in an upgraded role, but in the end he decided not to, and Andrew Dillon has got the job. So there's your answer to that.
That's one. Question number 2 was, will there ever be a timely resolution to the Clarkson and Fagan allegations? I think we've got an answer to that.
Well, the resolution was there's no resolution.
Correct. So at least it's an answer and a full stop on it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, which is good.
Yeah. Will Ken Hinkley survive this year? Will his supposed successor, Josh Carr, be handed the keys to Port Adelaide by season's end?
My gut feeling is you thought the answer to that would be yes.
Yes, I did. And I think that was well and truly on the cards until Port Adelaide went on a 13-game winning streak and Koshy put the August deadline, and they had no choice but to extend Ken Hinkley after that in the lead up to the finals to not have that distraction. I think Josh Carr will be the next head coach of Port Adelaide, so that question is still pending.
Yep.
But we've got the immediate answer for next year. Can Carlton come from outside the 8 to win the premiership, the Blues?
Well, the answer to that was no. But it was no for a long time, and then it was yes for a lot. And on the back of this year's come from behind incredible return to form, there's a number of people, including your good self, that I have heard suggesting that
big on them.
You're the favourite. I think Ralphie's been listening. He's jumped on board your tip again.
Ralphie. I wanted to speak about it. I saw Ralphie jumped on board. He's got them winning the premiership in his early ladder predictor today in the Herald Sun. We'd love for you to join in on this. The Harcourt's open line. We got Batokis to give away, a couple of those just in time for Christmas.
We've got,
we were loaded. We've got rounds of golf at Club Mandalay with a card, if you don't mind. That's valued at just under $100 for the callers of the day. This one's interesting. Will Gawn and Grundy be able to coexist?
Oh, the answer to that clearly is yes. It's just at different clubs.
Not in the same team. And I'm not sure we've got an answer to this one on the
Hang on a sec. Before we go, we need to just digress on that.
All right. What do you think?
I did the game for Fox, Richmond v Melbourne, out of Casey for whatever the trial one. And it was the most impressive two-man ruckman effort that I've ever seen from
4 between them or something.
Indeed, Max kicked a few. Grundy went forward, but gee, they were just exhilarating. And I left there thinking, this is going to work 100%. And finally, Simon Goodwin at the end of it, he said, no, that's enough.
No, worth a throw at the stumps, but did not work. Will Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson be able to coexist?
Well, I think the answer to that is absolutely yes.
I'm not sure.
I know you're not
convinced, sure. Jared, they're both ruckmen. Neither of them is a forward, and one of them's going to have to be a forward if they're going to coexist for the next 7 years.
I just think Luke Jackson's capacity to be a mobile, tall mid, I think is going to enable them to do it. A bit like Blitzarves down at Geelong. I mean, Blitzarves was the number one ruckman. They just found a way to do it. Now, that's what the coach has got to do. Find a way to get the best out of the double.
All right. We got an answer to this one. I was questioning Dustin Martin's motivation. I asked, does Dustin Martin want to play in 2023? He certainly did and had an excellent season and looks like he wants to play far beyond 2024. Will 2023 be the year Nathan Fyfe realises, unfortunately, his body is broken beyond repair? Now, I don't think he has realised it yet, but I feel like we're getting close to the answer that his body just can't cope with the rigours of footy like it used to be able to.
I'll be interested to see what sort of shape he is when he returns, because it seemed to me that he lost a lot of weight to take the pressure off his body. And yet, playing in the position up forward that they tried to play him in, he needed the weight. It should have been the reverse. He should have been losing weight if he was going to run around the ground. So, we need to find out what position he's going to play, and if he's going to play more forward, which I suspect it won't be, given that they've got some young forwards coming through now. So I think it's back to the middle for him and trying to bolster that midfield because they took a long while to work out a solution for David Mundy.
Yep.
Hayden Young, I think they played there in the last 4 games and played particularly well.
All right, well, I'm not sure. They've extended him for a couple of years. I'm just not sure whether his body can hold up. Will Geelong be exposed by the leadership void left by Joel Selwood? Was a question that I think we've got the answer to. Who stepped up from a leadership point of view? I know they had new captains and all of that.
Yeah.
But...
well, it's very difficult to replace him as a player, full stop. Whether it was leadership or just Joel Selwood as a player, I'm not sure. They had injuries. I think you'll get your answer to that more so this year than last year.
All right, so it was Dangerfield and Tom Stewart as captain and vice-captain, but Dangerfield's a great player, but I don't think he certainly didn't have the leadership presence that Joel Selwood did, and it was a disappointing year for the Cats. We'll see if they can rebound. Will my man Jason Horne-Francis living at home equate to improved happiness in their performance?
Oh, there's no question. It was terrific this year, but he couldn't have come off a lower base. So let's see how he goes next year. I mean, he's a number 1 draft pick. We're expecting him to be an All-Australian. He's got to get fitter, but he's high impact for low possessions. If he can get another 10 possessions a game, then he can certainly push All-Australian.
If you're just joining us, we had 18 questions that we posed before the start of the season. We thought it might be a good time to answer those. Sometimes you throw these things out and you never get the answer to them. We've got the answer now. Adelaide made Isaac Rankin its highest ever paid player. Can he play in the midfield and return the investment? Well, he didn't play much in the midfield.
No.
At stages, he definitely did return the investment. I'd still love... some would say he had a really good year, and I think if you look at his numbers...
he was the best small forward in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
This year.
But he was an All-Australian. He was an All-Australian squad. Can he get to that level? He needs to get to that level.
Certainly to get to that level, I reckon.
All right. Will 4 umpires increase the inconsistency in decision-making and therefore fan confusion, or will it work? What's your verdict?
Jury's out, I think. I think, we had a lot of younger umpires. It's great to have the older umpires staying around. I think they've been given a list of rules that are difficult to umpire, and I'd like to see that improve. What's your thoughts? You weren't big on it early. I didn't think it'd be too bad. I think the jury's out.
Yeah, I don't know if it had much impact at all. I don't think it helped the game. I didn't think we had better decision making. I didn't think the game was less confusing. In fact, I thought at times it was probably more confusing. So whether you speak to the umpires about the physical toll that it took on them, and
I've already done that. They love it.
Okay, they love it, and whether it's a good recruitment tool to get new umpires in and female umpires involved as well, because the physical demands are less. I see that there's not a female umpire in an AFL list next year, which would be of some concern to the AFL, so that may be a benefit to it. But did it help the game? Did it improve it? Nah. Will Hawthorn Savage Liscull leave wounds that will last for years? Well, no, it won't.
No, they did really well. They were one of the better sides this year, outperforming expectation. They did a terrific job. So that was a real win to the Hawks, and exciting times ahead.
Standing by to get to Tony Cochrane. Just a couple more. Can Aaron Norton be the game's best forward? Well, the answer to that was no. Can Luke Beveridge get the most out of the extraordinary talent on his list? The answer to that was also no. Will the post-game press conferences of Ross Lyon version 3 be as entertaining as previously? I reckon yes.
Indeed, yes. I want to go just read something out before Tony comes through, Kane, just to put you on notice.
All right. What have I done?
No, you haven't done anything. Right. So we got any more questions?
We got 2 more.
Okay,
will Gold Coast ever play a final? And is this the year for Stewie Dew? Well, the answer to that was no. And Richmond sold the farm for Tim Taranto and Jacob Hopper. Will that be a good investment? I think the jury is out because there's still about 6 years left on the 2 of those contracts. All right, you stack of text messages coming through. The reason that Luke Jackson is not Mark Blixar's replica is because Blixar's engine and running capacity is far above the rest of the ruckman and midfielders that no one else is like him, says Xavier. He's from Geelong.
Yeah, look, he probably is in general terms, but Jackson's running capacity far outweighs most ruckmen, and I reckon he can play as a midfielder, which he showed with Melbourne. I mean, he was in the middle there in their grand final. If he can do it 2 years ago.
Jared.
No, not from the ruck. He wasn't ruckman at that stage. He was in there with Max Gawn as well, was he not, in the grand final?
I think he did most of his damage. I'll stand corrected, these fans. I think it's not criticism. He's an excellent ruckman. Like, he's a top 5 ruckman now, but I just don't see the forward craft yet, and I certainly don't see it with Big Sean Darcy as well. But we will wait. They've invested a whole lot in those 2, and I hope it works, but I've just got my suspicions. I love how many father-son selections and NGA selections have been made in comparison to the Northern Academy selections have been made. I think I can think of at least 6 that the Bulldogs have alone, says Paul. Yeah, the Bulldogs have definitely been blessed. They've been lucky, and since Jamara has gone there, they've changed the rules because of that as well. You mentioned Johnny Ralph's way too early pre-season predictions in the Herald Sun today.
Yep.
I clicked on that.
Yep.
And I was like, well, where's Ralphie got everyone? And I wasn't necessarily too concerned about the placings, but what struck me was there are going to be some good teams that miss out.
Absolutely.
And it is way too early for us
picking an 8 this year is got rocks in their head.
To do it. So it's November, but if you just go off what Ralphie's done, he's got Adelaide missing.
Yep.
I don't think Adelaide miss.
I don't think Adelaide miss.
He's got the Western Bulldogs. Now, if the Western Bulldogs miss the 8, it is going to be one of the great disasters of all. With that list, if they finish 10th as Ralphie's got them, I'd be shocked with that, and there'll be a big fallout again. So I've got them. Mm-hmm. He's got the Saints missing. Saints fans would be...
Well, I can see the Saints missing.
Yeah, I can see him. But they played finals. Yeah. He's got them in 11th. That's a fair fall. He's got the Bombers in 12.
Well, they've got some work to do to make it.
Yeah, I know, but 12th is a long way. He's got the Cats in 13th. Would it surprise you if Geelong played finals?
I'd be surprised if they don't play finals. I mean, ultimately, the biggest thing now with those middle 6 sides is going to be injuries. I mean, the world sport shows you if you haven't got your stars playing, you don't win.
He's got Fremantle in 15th. Now, that's a coach killer. If Fremantle finish 15th, they sack their coach halfway through the year. So that would be a big story. And then he's got Hawthorn, North and West Coast 16, 17 and 18. So what I'm trying to say to you is the competition's in a great spot where we have got no idea who's going to play finals.
How many wins do you reckon North will get next year?
6.
I remember I had this discussion. I thought 6 last year.
I had 6. I think I said 6 last year.
Yeah, and we got Howard down, and the Howlers were proven correct, but it was a difficult year given the Clarko circumstance. She's with the talent. I don't know, Kane. You'd reckon they'd win 6, wouldn't you?
You'd hope so. But what this highlights is how even the competition is, and it is in a great spot. Who knows about Port Adelaide? Who knows what happens to Gold Coast? He's got them in 8th. Sydney, Melbourne might fall. GWS, can they replicate it? It's hard to win back-to-back premierships. Still some questions about the Blues.